Hi, this is Dani. The channel's You and Me Living Free. And today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about being an introvert and what I do, and some tips and some good pointers and strategies that I have found for myself navigating social circumstances as a solo female traveler, because sometimes they can be awkward, very awkward and uncomfortable, and especially because I am an introvert. And some people may find that surprising. And I have come, closer to the middle of the scale as far as the old an introvert extrovert Myers-Briggs assessment thing. I'm much closer to the middle than I used to be, but I am still an introvert at heart. And so I'm going to talk about these things. Before I dig right in, I'm going to tell you that instead of just watching my talking head during this video, I thought I would just share some pictures of Luce Park in Kansas City and also of our Nelson Atkins Museum of Fine Art. So those are the pictures that are going to be showing in the background, and I'm just going to be talking to you about these social situations and how I navigate them. Okay, let's dig right in. So I want to say, first of all, it's like I can be out on the road on my own and I can never feel any loneliness. That is not uncommon for me at all, to be on the road, to be by myself for days and days on end, sometimes weeks, and have very little conversation with anybody I know, or anybody period for that matter, and not have any problem with loneliness or anything. But there are also situations, and there's also times where I am around people, but I'm off to myself and I have no awkwardness and it's just fine. Like I can plan a day at a national park. I can plan a day of activities and stuff where I am off hiking or doing things like that. But here's what I'm talking about specifically. I'm talking about situations like going into a bar or a restaurant, or maybe there's an event where people are gathered, or like a concert or live music, or maybe I want to go see a movie. Maybe new friends have invited me to a campfire. All of these potential situations can be tricky for me personally, and maybe for you too. So let's start with some of the easy ones. Some of the easier ones are like a movie. I have no trouble going to a movie by myself, basically because I can pull out my phone and I've got my ticket in advance and I just go through the line and I sit down and I'm in a darkened theater. So that really doesn't cause me any anxiety. I have no trouble going to a movie on my own. Let's say I get invited to like a little campfire with new friends. That situation is also pretty easy for me if there is a small group. If there are a lot of people, that's trickier. We'll get into that in a minute. But if it's a small group, then I have a little talk with myself ahead of time, and I and I remind myself, to wear my smile, because it will put other people at ease, that there will probably be other people there that are just as nervous or kind of feel as awkward as I do. So I want to remember to smile. I want to remember to kind of put away my phone and give people the opportunity to talk to me, as well as to take the opportunity to talk to them. One that came up when I was in West End was going into a bar or a restaurant. These are potentially very awkward for me, and here is what I've come up with. So when I'm at a place like West End, or somewhere where I have the opportunity to go and have some good food or listen to some live music or something like that, I like to take advantage, and I can be a very social person. However, I feel very self-conscious in these situations. So what I find is very important is my own self-talk. I give myself a pep talk before I go in. I remind myself again about the smile. The smile is probably the most important thing. But I also remind myself to stand up straight, to look people in the eye. I'm reminding myself to just be super friendly and to actually look for opportunities to talk to people, look for small talk that I can initiate. If I'm at a bar or at a restaurant, number one, I sit at the bar. If I'm in a restaurant and sitting in a booth by myself, that can get pretty lonely. If they have a table by the window where I can look at people walking by, or if they have, better yet, a table outside where I can be kind of part of this, the sidewalk action or something and watching people, I find that that helps me a lot. If I'm at a bar or a restaurant with a bar, I will try to go to the bar. And I feel like this is where, if you go when you're single and you go up to the bar, you're more likely to get people who are ready and willing to engage with you and to talk with you. And so little icebreakers that I use are like, oh, that food looks good, or oh, what's good here? Have you been here before? Thinking about stuff like that. Or, hey, I'm new in town and, do you live here? Is there anything I should see while I'm here? Or little things about the weather or the place. Like sometimes you're both noticing, looking around a bar's decor or something and just noticing something that looks cool. I love talking to bartenders if they have time, if they're not swamped. They're great sources of information and usually really friendly and open. And so the hardest one for me is like an event where there are a bunch of people. But the thing is, I love live music, so you might find me at a concert or something. So what I try to do in those situations, number one, maybe if I can get close enough to the action where I can just people watch, I'm kind of okay. If I have to be kind of standing around with people, I honestly look for someone who looks like they might be just as nervous as me, and I go up and introduce myself and say something small. Maybe I like, the shirt that they're wearing, or they have a nice smile, or they're off by themselves and I'm off by myself, and so I just say hi and, kind of awkward to be here by myself, or some little thing that is genuine in the moment. And it really, really helps. And I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything because I want to have all the experiences. So just to recap, I really feel like the smile and the self-talk is a big one. I kind of talk myself into something and reassure myself to know that other people are feeling the stress too. And also that I don't want to miss out, but that I can leave at any time. Another big thing is I have the urge to reach for my phone. And so I want to proactively keep my phone at a distance so I don't just walk in somewhere and bury my head in my phone and then no one's going to talk to me and I'm not going to talk to anyone else. So I really hope that this helps someone. Of course, it's not for everyone. I mean, if you're an introvert and you just avoid those situations, that's totally up to you. But for me, it was like I felt like I was missing out if I would avoid it, and it's worth the pain. I'm close enough to the extrovert side to want to kind of push myself to do those things and to have great benefit from it. So I do get a lot of joy out of being social, even though I am an introvert. And so we saw those slides with my patrons on them. I want to say a special thanks to my patrons. I want to say a special thanks to you if you are still here. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Thank you for supporting me by watching, for supporting me on Patreon, anything at all. I'm sending you a ton of love, and I will catch you next time.